All right, guys. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. Today, we are going to be talking about incentives. Okay, some of you guys may have heard that term before. Other you guys, you may not have, but that's why we're here today to learn about that. Okay, so let's look at the objectives. There we go. We're going to analyze the effectiveness of negative incentives. We're going to be looking at that. That is actually a thing. We're going to examine the different types of incentives, what they are, and how do they pertain to everyday life. And the last thing is we're going to create an argument on whether incentives always work. The key word is always. Do they always work? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this lesson. All right, so here's your first question on your warm-up. The first question says basically analyze the picture and tell me what's going on. What is going on here? Okay, this is a really good picture that I've used year after year. It's really a good one. And the second question asks, what do you think this artist is trying to say, or how could you interpret this picture as? What is this saying? Okay, I've heard some really good explanations in class, and it seems like a lot of students, more or less, see the same thing. Either you're going this way, this way, this way, or this way. Um, but yeah, again, so first analyze it, break it down. What does each little thing around here mean? And you might notice some things. It's like, oh, someone didn't notice that in the corner that's a face. Somebody didn't notice that. So now that they knew that in class, they were like, oh, well, now this makes sense and this makes sense. And so go ahead, write your response, pause the video, okay, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. So incentives are anything that motivates a person to behave a certain way, okay? When it comes to economics, it's a preference are your needs, wants, and desires. Now, here's the thing. I've had some students, this is why I do these videos late in the week instead of right away. Because I've had some students ask me, well, what's the difference between a want and a desire? Well, a want is like, I really want a new car. A desire would be like, I want a 1965 Aston Martin, that was used in the movie James Bond and things like that. Chances are you won't get that. You won't get it at all. Okay. But you could you get a new car? Absolutely. Is it going to take you a while? Probably to get the money and things like that and do all that kind of stuff. But could you get it? Yeah. But could you get it right now? No. So it's a want, you know, and things like that. So like desires are things that are kind of almost impossible to obtain. Um, but a want is like, yeah, you could get it eventually, soon, maybe more later than soon, but still, you could get it. Now, there are 5 major incentives: tax incentive, financial incentive, subsidies, tax rebates, and negative incentives. We are not going to be going too much in depth on the subsidies because we did talk about that in the last lesson. So we are not going to be going in depth on that. Maybe just a little overview, okay? So here's your first question. Besides money, how else may a person be motivated to do something they otherwise wouldn't do? Okay, so I've been given the example in class, like think of like your little brothers, sisters, cousins, the ones who are acting like a little brat, things like that, and you have to watch them. If you wanted to get them quiet for like an hour or behave or do something that they more likely wouldn't do, what could you do? Now, do not say beat them because that's not motivating them. That's using force. There's a difference. Okay. How could you um, get them to do something without any type of violence? Okay. So think about it for a moment. Write your response down. Okay. Because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. Now, the first thing we're talking about is tax incentives. Now, I know right now you don't really care about that stuff. This doesn't sound that appealing to you, but trust me, when you get older and you start paying your taxes and things like that, if you get this tax incentive where you get money back, woo, you're gonna love that. So it's a reduction in taxes that encourages spending on certain items or activities. So a great example is sometimes the federal government or even states offer mortgage interest deductions. That ensures that money paid towards your mortgage interest isn't counted as taxable income. Anytime you get money, the government taxes you on it. You get money from your job, you get taxed on it. You take that money and you put it in the stock market. Let's say you make some money, you get it out. You're gonna get taxed on that. Your great aunt died and she left you some money. You're gonna get taxed on that. Okay, so anything time you get money, you're going to get taxed. Now, why is this mortgage interest deduction? You know, why is this given? Well, because they want to encourage people to buy property. Believe it or not, the government does want you to own a home. They have things like first-time home buyers loans where the interest rate is really low. The reason why they want you to buy homes is because if you have a home, you're going to need to put things there, right? You're going to need furniture, things like that. You might have to do some redecoration. You're going to have to buy some cleaning supplies, things like that, some decor for the house for like Christmas, Halloween. So that stuff costs money. So you're going to be buying stuff from Walmart, Target. That just shows how old I am. Um, you know, and Rite Aid and things like that. You're gonna buy stuff from those stores, and that's gonna put money into that company, and that company is gonna pay their workers money, and then the workers are gonna buy things, and it just makes the whole cycle of our economy roll. Okay, that's why the government wants you to own a home. Other tax incentives also work for corporations. Okay, they get a tax break to be given if they move to another or to a certain city. Great example, where my dad works, Reese Foods. They used to be in Tulare, but they moved to Dinuba because Dinuba gave them basically prime land, new factory, and tax breaks, tax incentives. Now, why would a city want a factory in their town? One, workers. The town now is there's access to workers, or jobs. So unemployment's going to go down. And do you think these workers are going to, let's say they live in another town, they're going to drive on their hour lunch to their home and then drive back? No, they're going to go to that little Mexican restaurant right down the road or to the McDonald's in town. They're going to buy things locally. Their wife tells them, hey, or their husband, hey, we need some stuff for the so and so's project for school. Well, Target's right there in town. Might as well just pick it up there and just. So the money they spend in that town stays in that town. Okay, see what I mean? So cities like that because they get money. So if they have to sacrifice some giving some tax break to lure that company in, they're ultimately going to get that money back. Excuse me. All right. Here's the next part. Financial incentives. It's a broad term for any monetary benefit given to a consumer, employee, corporation, or organization. Okay, monetary means money. If you didn't know, I'm sure you did, but just to be safe. Now, these types of incentives might make people do things that they otherwise wouldn't do. Some companies, they may not, uh, want to pay their workers a lot of money, so they'll probably tell them, okay, um, we'll pay you like this much money down here, but for every, shoes or car you sell, we'll give you 10% of that. That's called commission. You get paid for every time you sell. Here's the thing though, and this is something I hope you guys are listening to and you are paying attention. Some businesses, they have a ceiling when it comes to commission. They might say, oh, the most money you can get is like $5,000. Okay. So let's say you're selling cars and you sell, and you're reaching that limit, you hit it, and let's say you sell another car and you go over. That commission that you would regularly get, you're not going to get now because you hit your limit for the month. Um, so again, if you do get a job and they tell you we do commissions, ask them, is there a ceiling or a max? Okay, because if there is, you may not want to sell any more cars or anything like that or whatever you're selling after you reach your max. Because hey, you're not going to get anything. The company is. Um, However, on the flip side, if the company says no, there's no ceiling, there's no max part, then by all means sell, because you can get some good money out of that. Especially if you're a good salesman. The other thing that these companies do is offer stock options. Places like Google, Apple, they really want somebody there. They'll lure them in by, hey, we'll pay you this much and we'll give you stock in our company. They're not going to give them something like 10% or anything like that. No, 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 that's way too high. They might give them something like 1%, you know, half a percent, something like that, 2%, maybe. But yeah, they won't give them like 30, 40. No, 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 nothing like that. Now, that's for people, right? Employees, things like that. What about us, the customers, things like that? They offer us sales, discounts, things like that. Buy one, get one, sales like that. Right now it's a holiday season, so you might see like sales going on 40% off, 50% off, 60% off, on things. This encourages people to buy more, right? It's like, oh my God, it's 50% off. Basically, if I buy one, I can get the other one for the same price of if I just bought one like a week ago. Oh man, I probably want that. That's what they want. That's the carrot. That's the you almost got it. Look it. Yeah, you want this? Yeah, that's the carrot that they use. So here's your next question. Do you believe you're a sucker for sales? Again, for those of you guys who've been in my class, I have those little pop figures. I am a sucker for sales and those things. I can't help myself. I just am. If you are, like for a particular thing, purses, shoes, some type of clothing, whatever, write it down. Let me know. I'm a sucker for this type of sales on this thing or that thing. Okay. If you are not, on the other hand, you don't really fall for those, buy one, get one, buy two, get one free type of thing. Um, Tell me, what would it take for a certain company, whether it's like shoes, clothing, um, things like that, to lure you in to buy something? Now, honestly, guys, do not put, oh, they would have to be 100%. That's basically be for free. That's never going to happen. So, what would it take for you to say, okay, yeah, I'll buy that? Even though I may not need it now, I'll buy it because, man, that's a sale. You know. Okay, so it's like buying a pair of shoes. You're the ones you wear right now, they're not going to last forever. So maybe you want to get the pair of shoes because they're pretty cheap, just in case. Have like, hey, have like a backup, you know. So think about it, write your response, okay, because we're moving on in three, two, one. All right, so subsidies, we're not going to go over too much again because we talked about it last class. And if you didn't get to hear that, you can always watch that previous video. Subsidies are government programs that are set to help companies with economic growth, and encourage some type of behavior. Okay. Tax rebates are incentives to take, again, certain actions. Okay. Now, one of the big ones is like solar energy. There's, the federal government, they used to do this with when Obama was president, that if you had solar panels, you got a tax rebate. You could basically you fill out this paperwork, and then the government give you a check, and then you cash it in. Some states actually do give tax rebates. All right, so yeah, even states, depending on which state you live in, they might offer you tax rebates. Sorry, yeah, tax rebates on solar panels. Even some cities offer rebates for that. Um, so you just got to know what is out there, for especially when it comes to tax rebates, what cities, states, and the federal government is willing to give you a tax rebate on for doing something. Okay, they're out there. You just got to look. Okay. All right. So here's my next question: if the government gave some type of cash for grades program, like when you were a freshman, like for each A you get $50, B you get 35, C you get 20, D you get $5, and F, R's, and G's, all that you get nothing. Do you think students would continue to try to get good grades if that incentive was taken away? If the program went under, like right now when you're a senior, do you think you guys, if you had it for your freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and your senior year is taken away, do you think your class, your group of peers, you seniors would continue to try to get good grades? What do you think? And why do you believe this? Why do you believe like yes they would or no they wouldn't? Okay, and please guys don't put oh yeah half of them would, half of them would. No, no, no. Which way is it falling? Which way does the needle fall? More one way or the other? Okay, so which one? Don't do dead center. That's a cop out. That's a cheap way. Okay. So which way and why? Okay. All right. So the next thing is the negative incentives. This is also known as disincentives. This is when you punish people financially for taking a certain action. Now, we're talking again about economics and businesses, so they do hurt people financially. Now, is every negative incentive financially? No. Some parents take away their kids' phones when they're have bad grades or they're doing something they're not supposed to. That's a disincentive. If a kid wants to go, oh, I've been wanting to go see this the Spider-Man movie, things like that, and the parents say, yeah, we'll take you, and all of a sudden they do something bad, and we're like, no, we're not going to take you now because of what you did. That's a disincentive. So it's like you think they're going to keep doing it, you know. And research has shown that time and time again, people will behave a certain way faster when something they desire, they have, is taken away. Um, Now, like, what's a good example? Great one is little kids. They're on their phone, tablet. Let's say they didn't clean the room. The parent takes away their tablet. You won't get it back till you clean your room. The kid's gonna be, I hate this, and they're gonna be like, hitting things and stomping and, they get all upset. They'll do it. They'll do it because again, they don't have the means to get another phone, and everything they have is on that phone. So chances are they're gonna clean that room. They'll be angry the whole time, but they'll do it. Okay, so it can work. Okay, and if think about animals too, like if your dog did something good, hey, here's a treat. If they do something bad, hey, and you keep doing that enough, they're gonna stop. The state of California actually did this with bags. When you have plastic bags, stuff like that, you need one, they charge you 10, 20 cents. Because why? California it was tired of having all these plastic bags in the dump. So to limit that number of plastics used and disposed of in the dumps, they did that charging. So more people use recyclable bags or reusable bags to put their stuff in. So that's a disincentive. So here's your next question. Do you think negative incentives actually work? Do you think they actually truly work? That hey, they're meant to make you're acting this way. Now I'm going to take this thing away. You're going to act this way now. Do you think that it works, or do you think it's like it has to be constantly done? Like, again, the kid not cleaning your room. They're always going to have to take the phone away. Always going to take the phone away. Or do you think that one time, two times, and that kid's going to be like, fine, I'll just clean my room because I don't want them taking my phone away. What do you think? Do you think it really works? Yes, no, and why? Okay. Again, no maybes. No, yeah, half the time, no. No, none of that. None of that. Yes or no, and why? Okay. Now we've come to the exit ticket. Remember, you guys are going to pick one of these questions to answer. The first one says, have you had negative incentives done to you? What was taken, and did you learn your lesson? Okay. The next one is, what was the last incentive you were offered or received? What did you have to do to get it? Okay. So think about that. And the last one is, do incentives always work? The key word is always. Do they always work? Yes, no, and why? Okay. So once you've answered one of those three questions, you are done with this lesson. Guys, I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, I really want you to take what we learned and look at how people are, not just in your home, but in the classroom and out in public in general, and see how it is. You and just pay attention to people, what they say and things like that to their kids, and you know, yeah, if you be quiet, I'll get you this, you know, and things like that. Just keep an ear open. It's very interesting, okay? So that's it. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you later, all right?